Welcome everybody to Bugbears and Brews. My name is Brian and today we're doing Encounter recap number 32 and 33 of our Storm King Thunder campaign. Tonight I'm drinking a mojito instead of beer. So Jose, this is for you, buddy. Sorry, I told him I would do some bullshit like that next time I record a video I'm drinking because he was making fun of some of the faces I was making. So, starting off, Encounter 32. We had two very roleplay heavy sessions. Encounter number 32, we brought in a new player, Lee, who's played with me in the past, and I actually participate in a once-a-month home game at his house. And so he joined us, and he was a paladin named Varus. I say was, he's still around. Sorry. I started out with people just kind of going their own separate ways, figure out what to do. Thessalon really had a bug up his butt, though, and wanted to get away from everybody. Went out and tried to kind of piece together, what's happening to the elves, and decided, let's check out that initial goblin cave from like way back when, during like the first or second session. And that's where he entered the goblin cave, and he found some light going on in there, and he found Varus in there, and they did a little bit of talking back and forth. And Varus is like, "Hey, my whole clan was wiped out by demons, and I've just been in this cave for like 3 months, kind of sulking, thinking, trying to figure out what's going on. But I think it's time to get, take some action. You mind if I go with you guys and maybe help piece together your mystery with my mystery and see what else we can do?" One thing to point out that Varus said is that his town, even though it was taken over by devils, demons, he's not sure which of the two, fiends, let's call them fiends. Even though it was taken over by fiends, or everybody was killed by fiends, there we go. The fiends were led by a adult male elf of some sort that had all sorts of black tattoos all over his body, very tribally looking tattoos. I talk about tribal, I talk about like the old 90s tribal tattoo type look. Sorry. Been a while since I had a mojito. I think the boat that I went on today got me in the mojito mood. So, travel back to Nightstone. You guys talked a bit, bullshitted around. Pavic got himself kicked out of the keep by slandering the Vander's woman, whose name was Amira the Crow, something like that. I forget what I put down. Something very Frenchy sounding. LaCroix, that's what I went with. And the son's name was Remy. Is Remy, I'm saying was, because it was a couple weeks ago. But talking crap about them, so Pavic got himself kicked out, and he had to go live with Moog. That allowed Varus to move into the keep, but Varus couldn't stay there until he had all the proper paperwork filled out for joining the venture company. So Vander got that going. From there, you guys went out eventually to... because Vander was saying, "Hey, there's elves in this woods. What's going on? You guys are lying." And Varus is like, "No, there's no elves in the woods." So you guys eventually broke down and said, "You know what? Let's go check out the nearest elf community." Vander's like, "I'll prove to you that there's elves there," and Varus is like, "I prove to you that that there aren't." You guys got to the elf community, and everything was abandoned. There wasn't signs of combat going around in this area. There was no scorched earth, no broken boards, nothing like that. The place looked a little sacked, but it looked more like people got the hell out of there before whatever was coming was coming. And so with looking around, though, I will say that you guys split up into two groups. There was a bottom group that searched the ground level, and there's a top group that searched the tree level. The top group was Vander, Inigo, and Rondi. And so this is where, Anthony did a great job not trying to meta it. Both Inigo and Vander have some sort of weird spikes in them that seem to be kind of causing some sort of behavioral differences. That's about all we can go into. You guys know Vander has with that spike. You don't know Inigo has it. So thank you, Anthony, for not metaing it too much. And so essentially what they did is they separated Rondi and went around, checking around up top, and trying to lead Rondi into a far enough location where that way they can spike Rondi. And eventually, they came to a door and it was locked. Rondi picked it. He's like, "All right, I'm not going in first though, because that's not my gig. You guys are kind of the heavy hitters. Why don't you go in first?" Vander took an arrow or a crossbow bolt from a trap, and then started like looking around. I was like, "Oh crap! You need to do a better job. So, I'm paying you to be in this adventure company. You need to do a better job." A little bit back and forth bullshit there. And eventually he's like, "Hey, Rondi, come check this out. I think there's something else that needs a trap." And this is where the beautiful silent DM and player talk that Don and I had going on all game came into play, where he's slipping me all these notes, and he's like, "Hey, and as soon as this happens, I was going to do hold person, hold monster, hold creature, hold something." He was going to cast hold on Rondi, and the hold wound up working, and so they spiked Rondi. The rest of the party doesn't know that, though. From there, we went back to town after you guys decided you didn't really find anything. You guys... big important thing. The person that actually spiked Rondi was the gentleman with the black tattoos. He came out from a hiding spot and spiked Rondi. So, and then took off. You guys went back to Nightstone and called it a night. And then from there, the next morning, you were getting ready to set out to Varys' homeland to see what happened there, because that was an actual attack, as Varys confirmed. As you guys were getting ready to set out, though, Tim, who plays Thessalon, was trying to cast a spell magic on Vander's next spike, and he did it, and nothing happened. And Tim got really, I don't want to say upset, but he got really flustered, and you could tell he thought I was pulling some, like, DM, you're not going to, take me off of these tracks that I finally got the game back on. Okay, that's my thought of what he was thinking was going on. And we already told Tim what happened, but Don, he initially said, he was slipping me notes all night, Don, who plays Inigo, and he said, one of the notes was, anybody tries to cast a spell magic, I am going to silent spell, or still spell, I forget which one, the magic with counterspell. And because that causes no visual or no verbal components, nobody knew what was going on. Just spells were failing. They just thought I was being a meta, DM dick. But turns out it was just really good playing on Don's end. Afterward, when we told Tim about it, he had a small chuckle about it, but sorry, I got a text of some sort. But he had a small chuckle, but you could tell he's a little flustered. But once we peeled back the curtain and told him what was going on, he's a bit happier about it. That was the end of that session. Session 33 was another roleplay heavy session. In this, we went to Varys' hometown, and Lee couldn't make it due to personal issues. So Lee, I made some decisions for your character. As much as he, Varys is a paladin, he actually got a little scared of the devils and demons, fiends, whatever they are, fiends, and freaked out and ran from the town. So when you guys got to the town and you're like, "Hey, Varys, show me what's going on," he's like, "Here's the truth. I kind of bitched out and left town and left the town to itself." And so you guys split up, or no, you didn't split up. Sorry, you stayed together. And you kind of looked through town, and this was a much different scene. Things were clearly ransacked. There's blood all over the place. No bodies, though. So you check a couple buildings. Check the, I think we did the temple, the barracks, longhouse, community center, and the market. You guys didn't actually wind up checking the market. But, temple, looked around. There's no signs of desecrations or anything like that, but you gathered up a couple goodies. You went to the barracks, and you can tell the barracks actually, through what you guys found, like a small story there, is that that's where everybody kind of held out. And eventually, the fiends wound up breaking in through the bathroom, shower room, whatever you want to call it. Wound up breaking in through the small sewer system there and killing everybody from the inside. But they wound up, the elves wound up lasting in that area for about 7 days or so. But once again, even though there's all sorts of blood inside there, there was no bodies. The longhouse, which was like the big higher ups area, no blood or anything like that, but you did find all sorts of paper strewn about. You guys just gathered all the papers. You're like, let's look at this as we're camping. And then at the community center is where you guys found the, as I described it, the Predator-esque people, or people hanging upside down like Predator from the movie Predator. Predator, 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 Predator. They're making a new Predator. Sorry. So with that, you guys are like, oh man, this is kind of screwed up. But it's a good chance for Speak for Dead because we have all these people to talk with. And you looked around and you found like the person that seemed to be the most important looking one, and he was the one that was kind of up on a stage and given a little extra treatment. Everybody was tortured in some way or form, and there's all sorts of different flaying and dismemberment and that kind of crap there. But there's one guy that got some extra treatment, and you decided let's talk with him. And you found out that yes, there was the gentleman with the tattoos there. Definitely he was elven. There were some fiends. They described the fiends. The fiends very much matched up with what you recognize as Eleni using. They're kind of the bony, spiny, type creatures with the kind of scorpion-esque tails. What else did you ask? Oh, what they were trying to get from the group, and they were trying to get where their elven ancestral secret hidey hole is, and the guy, you didn't have any more questions left, so that's where he left off. Before he answered your last question, though, he said that he will not answer any of your additional, the initial deal was he wasn't going to answer any questions unless you guys decided to perform a burial ceremony or send the dead off properly. He said, it's too many dead to bury, so we'll allow for just light the building on fire, but do a ceremony for them all. You guys agreed to that, and then before he answered the last question, he said, I'm not answering anything else until you guys perform the ceremony. Then I'll answer the last one, and we'll all go off peacefully. And so Thessalon went back to the temple, gathered up some notes, came back. And during this time, Thessalon and I, Tim, we went and talked a little bit, had a little side conversation there, and Tim came back and did the service. He did it in Celestial, though. Nobody spoke Celestial, and even though they weren't familiar with the service, they could tell it was a little... it was definitely religious in tone, but there was something a little just different about it. Not quite what they expected for a town that had Sylvanas as their deity. Meta-wise, Tim wound up sacrificing or giving all 150-ish souls to his great old one patron. So that was really good. I gave Tim inspiration for that. And then with that, the ceremony complete and the house, longhouse, community house, whatever you want to call it, on fire, the guy gave off the last little bit of information. From there, you guys went out and camped. Oh, you did take his head, because you guys have a fetish with taking people's heads and trying to talk to them later, even though you guys always forget to talk to them later. You did take his head and left, went to the temple, because you thought that was a pretty good fortifiable area, camped there for the night. Everybody took a different pile of information there, kind of dug through and tried to find out what was going on. But the main thing you found was this book of really bad elven poetry, like really, really, really bad, purposely bad. As you guys, nobody can be this bad. And you found that there was probably 3 or 4 different hidden codes in this, depending on different things. And it's got to be something of importance there. And so you tried to break it down and figure out what's going on, but you couldn't figure it out that night. The next morning, Grimac was able to decipher a couple of the codes. One of them didn't make any sense. One of them was pointed directions and go here, and the other one was steps to something. So one was directions to a location, the other one was steps to something. But during the night, because Thessalon gave all those yummy souls to the Great Old One. The Great Old One wound up ripping through their memories and gave Thessalon the knowledge that you guys needed. So you guys knew where this secret hidey hole is, and you confirmed that with what Grimach found in the book, and those kind of matched up. And so now you know where you're going, and now you had this part one of these steps, and the second one wasn't making much sense. Then Pavic wound up taking a look at the book and was able to solve the other issue. You know, the one that didn't make sense. He was able to make some sense out of it by spinning the book and doing a couple of different other things, just looking at it from a different perspective. So you guys had the directions, and you have two different step type situations there to do or know about. And it seems like the step situations are how to get around traps or open up secure doors, those kinds of things there. And then you headed off towards the secret hidey hole area, and that's where we left off. I will say, I think next session should be our last session. I think. If not, I don't think it'll go more than 2 sessions. I have my plans. I don't want to force and end it quickly, but I think I'm getting it to the nice head that I'm looking for, and so head-on collision, that's what I'm looking for. And so I'm excited to get some combat back in, because we've been doing a lot of roleplay heavy sessions. Don't get me wrong, I love roleplay heavy sessions, but I can tell you guys are itching to roll those dice. So that's where we left off. Can't wait to see you guys next Wednesday. Mark, change out your damn dice. No more of that fire, earth, wind, water crap, because those have been rolling like crap. Been talking about changing them. Change them. So I'm going to kill this mojito and go make another one, because this is still my first one. My wife had you wound up stealing my first drink, and so I had to make another one. So, yep. I will talk with you guys later. See ya. Bye.